What's going on, everyone? So the more I think about it, the more Minnesota, I think, makes the most sense for Giannis. I think it makes the most sense for Milwaukee, right? Because there are several ways that you could structure a Giannis trade, right? Giannis and Anthony Edwards as a duo would be just, come on, man. That would be so great. Like the basketball fan in me would just love that. I mean, that's the closest thing to like a modern Kobe and Shaq as you're going to get, right? Like that would be so much fun. And if you're Minnesota, you got those two and you figure it out type thing, right? But from Milwaukee's side of things, I don't hate the idea, right? There's a lot of talks about, the Minnesota Timberwolves should go and they're going to have to turn Jaden McDaniels into picks and Naz Reid and all these guys into picks and then take those picks and go send it to Milwaukee. Why? Right? Like, here's the thing about Milwaukee. They can't tank and bottom out. They don't own any of their picks. Even this year's pick is a swap, but like, I believe it's Atlanta has the right to get like the favorite one. So there's like the Pelicans, the Bucks, and then a team like Atlanta that come in and basically take the best. But if you're the Milwaukee Bucks, like you can't even tank this year to justify that. You, again, don't have any control over your picks. So shouldn't you want to put together like the best kind of right now roster? If I'm the Bucks, give me Jaden McDaniels, Naz Reid, Shannon, and like Rob Dillingham or whatever, right? And then whatever picks you have. I'd even maybe try to like be like, hey, go get me one more first type thing. Figure it out. But I want at least Jaden McDaniels and Naz Reid. And for a couple reasons. One, this season, I mean, you could deploy, Rollins, right? You'd have Jaden McDaniels, Naz Reid, Miles Turner, and then, I don't know, you go with Porter or whatever as your starting two. Or you go like Rob Dillingham, whatever, or Shannon. But point is that like now you actually have a really good, just like solid, you don't have that superstar in that, but you got a really good, solid team that like you can kind of evaluate this year. But then next offseason, you'd probably get more tearing it down yourself, which you're going to have to do regardless. You'd probably get more tearing it down yourself than you would Timberwolves going to make, because teams know you're trying to trade Jaden McDaniels to get Giannis. You're trying to trade Naz Reid to get Giannis. Where if you're the Bucks, you have more teams like the Lakers and all kinds of stuff that are going to have more first. You might be able to turn Jaden McDaniels into 3 or 4 firsts. You might be able to turn Naz Reid into 1 or 2 firsts, maybe even more, right? You might be turn Miles Turner into a first. You're going to have to kind of get off of Porter and all these other guys anyway. So you're going to have to sell the farm regardless, but it's a lot easier and a lot more teams are able to trade for a Jaden McDaniels or a Naz Reid than a Giannis Antetokounmpo. It's part of the reason why it's like, are the Bucks going to be able to get the return that makes sense for them? And going and getting a bunch of firsts from a team that's going to be really good the next 5 years doesn't make sense, right? Going and getting a bunch of Warrior picks, like, Warriors are probably going to be one of the best teams in basketball, if not the best team in basketball the next 5 years, right? Like Steph is good enough and his skill set is good enough. He could probably play, into his 40s. If he goes to a team like Portland, Portland's probably going to be pretty good. So now those picks aren't really valuable. Like there's so much to factor in. But now, if I can get, let's say I get 4 firsts in a Giannis trade, you might be able to get 5 or 6 trading Jaden McDaniels and Naz Reid. Right? Like, so you might be able to squeeze out that extra first, right? Or maybe get more favorable picks, maybe get better picks, because a team getting Giannis is probably not going to be as good as a team getting Jaden McDaniels, right? Like the gravity, So, and again, it's so much easier for teams to trade for. It's easier. Every team in the league could trade for a Jaden McDaniels who is under contract for 4 years. Giannis, he can dictate where he wants to go. Like, there's always a team that'll be like, we can take a flyer on him for a year and a half, sure. But, like, he has a lot more power. Jaden McDaniels, under contract for the next 4 years, he doesn't really have that. So, you're just selling him to the highest bidder. Naz Reid, same thing, under contract for the next 4 years. You're just selling him to the highest bidder. Right? So, now you have, like, But you have, again, more teams that are capable of matching $25 million in salary than $55 million. You have teams that are more, or it's easier to match Naz Reid's $22 million than $55 million. Right? So if you're the Milwaukee, I don't hate the idea of, again, we want Naz Reid and Jaden McDaniels. And then we need you to go get as many picks as you can. Right? Turn whatever guys you can into whatever you can. Second, first, whatever, right? And then just get as many picks as you can in that deal for whatever you can, right? Like even if some seconds, ideally, hopefully like 2 firsts, something like that. If you told me you got Naz Reid, Jaden McDaniels, and 2 firsts plus a couple seconds, I don't hate that for Milwaukee, right? Because then again, in the offseason, you're having a fire sale. And you probably have the most assets in all of basketball. Because again, Jaden McDaniels probably get you 3 or 4 firsts. I mean, you're talking about one of the youngest premier 3-and-D wings in all of basketball. He's one of the better guys in all of basketball. And he's a known playoff performer too. So that has value there. Right? So you're probably getting 3 to 4 firsts for him. Probably getting, like I said, you probably get 2 for Naz Reid. Right? So there's 5 firsts right there on top of what you got from Milwaukee or from Minnesota. And then Miles Turner, can Miles Turner yield you a first, right? Or maybe you get off the salary and just get a couple seconds type thing. Like, hey, do you have expiring? We'll take the expiring and do that. Kind of clear cap space. You don't think every contending team in basketball would be lining up to try to go get Jaden McDaniels. You could probably get a young player and multiple firsts for Jaden McDaniels. Right? You don't think a team like Detroit would be like, hey, here's, Jaden Ivey and 4 firsts or something like that. Of course they would. Like, I look at Minnesota and I'm like, that might be the best package and test outside of like maybe Portland, just because you could get all your picks back or most of your picks back, because Portland has like all of them. So, that there's an argument to be had there, but I don't know. I really like the idea of the Minnesota trade for the Milwaukee Bucks. I just think you get to see kind of guys right now, and then in the offseason have a fire sale, and you'd probably get more of a return for Jaden McDaniels and Naz Reid combined than you would for Giannis, as far as like assets go and young players and stuff, because again, more teams can just trade for those guys. It's definitely something I would consider if I'm the Milwaukee Bucks. I'd be looking at that going like, we could do a lot worse than that. Right? Yeah, obviously you got to do a little more work. But, you work harder, you make more, right? Anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass the question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.